everybody. Hope you guys are well. I was trying to figure out what camera to even look at, but I am excited to have you aboard the Sales Hustle Club. Every Monday, 10 Central, we're going to have this conversation. We want to be the sales meeting that maybe you don't get. Because you know why? I know what it's like to be a lonely sales guy out in the field all by myself and feeling a little bit maybe disconnected from other human beings. And so maybe if my only interaction is someone rejecting me, that may not be the most positive thing to feel, because it's lonely when you're an outside sales guy. You're lonely when you're a girl out there with just the prospects that you're seeing every single day, trying to build relationships. It's not like working in an environment where you have a lot of supported people inside an office. When you're in inside sales, it's a different animal than outside. And I wanted to take a moment to announce my commitment on this call. We get to decide how a week is going to go. We have the control to have an incredible day. And I'm committed to share my energy with you. So in order for this to happen, I need you to turn off the distractions that are going on in your mind. The distractions that are on your computer or your phone that can keep you from receiving information that could be that next thing that you needed to do to engage with that would totally unlock the opportunities that you have. If you have a pen and paper, that would be ideal, because there may be something that I give you. It may be 30 minutes of me yapping, but one piece of content that takes you to the next level. That one thing that I say that inspires you to take action to unlock who you are capable of being. What I love about sales is I can decide what comes out of my mouth in front of the right people with the right disciplines, and it winds up landing in my checking account, because the activities that we do in our sales day is a direct reflection of what is going to show up in our checking account, because we create value into the world with our customers, and that value turns into opportunities. You guys are making a decision today to spend time with me. My mission is for you to provide the value. And all in all I'm doing when I do these calls is helping my 21-year-old self succeed in sales, because I wish I had this call that I'm doing with you. I am mentally going back in time and helping the prior me, the nervous, timid, scared sales guy that did not like the rejection. That's why we do this call. That's why I do it. That's my why. And I'm very thankful to have you guys aboard with us. Today, we're going to talk about how to win a customer. Now, how to win back a customer. Now, we all know the most important customers that we have are people that are already buying from us. Sometimes we get caught up in our head about finding new prospects, and it's far easier just to take care of the people who have already bought from us. And sometimes we neglect them and they go away. We lose the customer. And I want to first talk about, if we're going to how to win back a customer, let's take a step back. How do we prevent from losing that customer? How do we keep them leaving in the first place? Well, this is something that I have always said to my existing salespeople in the numerous companies I've owned is, what do you say after the sale? During the selling opportunity, you probably made some promises to get the sale. And what happens is sometimes we make promises that we don't follow through with. We make promises we don't follow through with, and the customer goes away thinking that we were maybe a little dishonest, disingenuous. We're just saying things to get the sale, and that's something we can't do. So when you are with a customer and you are selling them, you got to follow through with what you said you're going to do. Because when a customer discovers the experience isn't the way you framed it. You know, have you ever seen a great trailer of a movie and then you actually saw the movie and it looked nothing like the trailer? It was boring and not worth the time and energy to watch. Well, customers feel the same way. So make sure that you are in alignment with your pitch and your sale to what actually is what you do after the fact. And some of the time is outside of your control. Following up after the sale is a must-do for everyone. I justify the follow-up with this. If I follow up in the right way, the customer will give me referral opportunities. Follow-up was always a referral opportunity. Back in the day, I used to sell cell phones door to door. And one of the strategies I would do after I would go into a company and I would sell them many phones, I would schedule a time to stop by, and I always made sure it was at lunch, and I would go by their office and I would go into their break room. That was where I would meet people that help answer questions about their phones and whatnot. And that gave me a second opportunity to build and sell other phones inside the office with an audience. And so that helped me tremendously to find that next sale and that next opportunity. So in the conversation, when you're working with an existing customer you've sold to in the past, you've sold them last week, for instance, always make sure you have an actual follow-up conversation. Don't write an email follow-up after the sale, okay? No, actually have a phone conversation. If you can do it in person, that could be helpful depending on the size of the customer. And be ready and willing to accept some feedback could be critical of the company or the service that you're providing. They may not like it exactly, but what you want to do is still maintain that relationship and still be there to help answer their questions, to help support them along the way. You got to ask yourself, when we are solving problems with our customers and they are buying from us, like let's say they buy from us on a regular basis, always ask yourself, have you done the follow-up in the last several days or weeks? But are you also still solving a pain point that they have? Sometimes we get out of alignment with a customer. Their business changes and the solution they bought from us wasn't or isn't the right solution ongoing, going forward. And that is an opportunity for you to maybe upgrade the package or upgrade the solution that you gave them, or maybe it's time to just get on another call with them and figure out, all right, their business has changed. Have I upscaled the opportunity with them so my solution is in line with what they're currently needing? And this is all under the framework of let's take care of a customer first before we have to win them back. Let's just take care of their needs before they leave us. And sometimes we make this assumption. We've closed the sale. We're ready off for the next person. And if you are still receiving some kind of reward for solving that customer or getting paid for that, or just you want your company to be successful with the contract you just sold, let them know that you care about them. There's nothing worse than having a salesperson sell you something and you can never reach them. You can never get them again. It feels squirrely. It just feels ugly. We as humans want to feel cared about. And if we have a sensation that you have lost interest or don't care about us, it really affects the whole relationship. So what could cause a customer to cancel? Well, all of these things. This is the number one thing. For you to lose a customer is when the customer that bought from you leaves the company that you sold to. This is a super common way for you to lose some of the best business that you got. Your key customer could go work anywhere. And when they leave and you don't know it, someone can swoop in to take that new position in that company who has other relationships they're going to bring into that business that could really jeopardize your relationship. That's why I tell everyone, part of every single follow-up process when you are following up with the customer, yes, you should call, you should email, you should probably also text, but you should also go in LinkedIn, connect with them as a contact, but also follow them, because I want to know when my best client changes roles in the organization. Now, one thing I tell people, the risk of social media is it could be a total drain on your energy in looking at a news feed. But to me, 5 to 10 minutes a week should be in LinkedIn, just looking at the current news feed, looking at your current customers. If you see that Joshua King just started a new position as a controller at ABC Supply, and that's your best customer, by gosh, reach out to him, okay, with he's got a new position somewhere else. He could bring you on to that new opportunity. But on the flip side, who is going to replace them? So find out in the company who is at an open role. You may even see that they have a job opening, and you're knowing they're accepting applications. So you got to make an assumption, like as soon as you see that this person is in that role, you want to connect with that company, that contact, so you can maintain that relationship. A lot of the stuff that happens when we lose a client is out of our control. Someone coming in, maybe with a shinier solution, maybe it's a relationship from inside the organization that brought someone new, so someone else is paying them attention. And they may be making their solution seem way better than yours, or even talking down your solution, which we should never do as salespeople. But a lot of things are just out of our control. The cost of the product, it may be something that the costs have gone up. They've chosen another provider. The features of the services are no longer serve their current needs. Or this one, uncle's in the business. How many times have we heard this, where someone in the family is building that relationship inside that organization, and you just lose it? That's just one of the things that's going to happen. It's out of our control. So how do we get them back after they leave? Well, first off, a lot of times we don't know they've left, okay? I tell everyone, and if you're a CallProof client, I recommend having a category under contact types called win-backs. What's a win-back? Well, depending on what your business is, if you're selling industrial gases, you probably have customers that buy from you on a regular weekly basis. What happens if they stop? What happens if you looked at their current buying and they bought every 3 weeks, and then suddenly they don't buy anymore, and it's been 6, 12 weeks? What should you do? What I recommend for people that manage the CallProof account, number one, you should have a list of your sales by customer report, and then you should have your list of customers, and you should identify customers that are buying on a regular basis. And if they stop buying for a period of time, you got to assume they've stopped buying from you for a reason. And you got to go back and re-engage that relationship. You lost them. They've moved on. And so I like to categorize those into CallProof as win-backs. So you have customers, right? You have prospects, and then you have win-backs. Honestly, a win-back is far easier to get than a prospect, someone that doesn't know you, doesn't have a relationship with you. But you got to ask yourself, what happened? What caused them to leave? And it could be lots of things. Maybe it's you onboarded the customer, you handed it off to someone that was really important in the company that's in charge of onboarding new customers. And maybe their language is not the same language as you, the salesperson. In fact, you may tell them and sell them on your solution, of which is never even talked about with the onboard specialist that is getting them acclimated to the new job. And it's very common. Sales organizations are different than operational organizations. The salesperson is saying all the nice and shiny things, all the good things that get them the customer to buy. They understand that relationship. They understand how to get someone to say yes. But the operations team, they don't understand the value that you give. They don't understand what you are truly solving for that customer. I welcome all of you. If this resonates with you and you've had a disconnection between the customer that's being onboarded into the experience that your customer is receiving, I would challenge you to spend time with someone on the operations team, or having your sales manager spend some time with the operations team so you can see and hear what's happening. Because what we are selling should be congruent with what operation is supplying. And it's very common that people in operations don't understand the core value proposition of what you're selling. We as salespeople know what the hot buttons are. And in some organizations where you have a disconnect, you have people that the right hand is doing one thing and the left hand is doing another. That's so common. It happens in marketing with sales. It also happens with the operations, the people that supply the service. And there could be 1,000 whys of why they don't like doing business with your company. They may love you, but actually dislike the company. Now, if you understand these things that they don't like, there could be a really saucy billing person that is kind of not a nice person. And if that key contact that you sold to has to deal with a not nice person, and that jeopardizes the relationship, it's important for you, the salesperson, to provide feedback to leadership on what is busted, what is wrong, what is challenging the relationship. And that time and energy giving feedback to your leadership team can help prevent you from losing customers. I could not tell you how many times I had salespeople that would hear the feedback, but not do the feedback. They hear the feedback from the customer, but not take the feedback back to the team. All good sales meetings have a component where getting customer feedback back to leadership is really important. If it were me and I heard feedback, and some feedback is baloney, okay? Often when you are working with someone who is frustrated with you or maybe doesn't do business with you anymore, often they won't give you the real reason they're not doing business with you. So understand that sometimes you'll get baloney when it comes to what the reasons why they left. But give feedback often to your leadership team so they know. Because eventually, if reoccurring things are being spoken about or presented as issues, you're going to have an opportunity for someone in the company to fix that. So the feedback and the why is very important to understand. And if you don't spend the energy asking why someone left, or, it could just look like, hey, Julie, I know it looks like you stopped buying from us. I would love to see if there's a time I can come by sometime next week and just have a quick chat. I just want to have a better understanding how we could improve what we're doing. And even just the act of reaching out, saying that you care, is helpful. And good organizations want to give this feedback as well. Because when you think about it, it is awfully time consuming to go through the selection process of picking a vendor, going through the process of switching vendors. There's a lot of things that happen in that process that if companies don't want to just be switching to switch. They got to have a reason. And it's important that you understand the why and you communicate that with your organization so they can make things better. Now ask yourself, is it in your control or not? Are you willing to look in the mirror? Are you willing to be humble that you made a mistake? Maybe you promised something that was just over what the company could deliver. How could you remodel your conversation so you're not making these kind of mistakes? Integrity mistakes are horrible mistakes. We don't want to make integrity mistakes. Now, if you are selling something that your company isn't really delivering on, back to give feedback. Listen, you're Mr. Manager, you're telling me to say these things. We're the best in the business, but yet when we actually do the deployment, the customers don't think we're the best. That's feedback they need to know. So you can be in alignment, because disappointing a customer is the reason they leave. Is the unmet expectations that you made. And I have, back in the day when we would sell, we used to sell a product that was really bad. And for the first couple of months, we didn't know it was really bad. And we talked it up like it was super awesome. And then we started realizing it wasn't as great as we were saying it was. And so when we changed which would cause a lot of cancels and a lot of what we call churn. And it wasn't until we changed our language and say, listen, hey, it does these things really great, and this will solve this problem. It's a little bit new. It's still kind of in beta. Still, it's not perfect. If we set that expectation, we didn't have the churn later because it still provided tremendous value. Just be careful in the way you oversell things. And we just got to be in congruency to our integrity all the time. Also, let's not be working with a customer and having them feeling guilty that they switched. Because if you build a great relationship with them, it's going to feel uncomfortable for them to have to justify why they left your company. And sometimes we as humans, we don't like breakups. We just are terrible at it. In fact, if you're a 20-something, you probably don't even break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend. You just send them a text message or just ghost them, right? So there's a lot of different ways that people don't like to feel guilty. So be careful in that language, and also understand that because they don't want to feel guilty, they may even sugarcoat the reason that they left or blame it on something else in the company that has nothing to do with anything. Here's a couple ideas that you may want to jot down that could be helpful. Ask yourself if you could solve a new pain point that they have. So you lost somebody, you lost the customer. Maybe it's time just to go back in and do another needs analysis. Good salespeople, when they're servicing and supplying a solution to solve someone's problem, is ask deeper questions, define deeper needs that they have that you could solve. They may have switched providers, right? And this new provider, they switched because of the price. Well, you may not be able to match the price, but maybe you could match on value and what you offer them. So what other pain point inside of their business that you could solve? And that's just a matter of asking more questions, finding new opportunities that you can serve. Are they opening new branches in other markets? Are they offering a new product line? How could you help? It may be the way things are delivered. I've seen a lot of customers decide to change vendors. It has nothing to do with price. It's the ease of doing business with the vendor. Maybe their website is super easy to use, and the person that buys has to fill out some order form. Where that order form is complicated, that's great feedback, because if it takes that person a long time to fill out that form, the form could cost the customer in of itself. And you could probably solve that form with just a little bit of activity and improving that. Offering a price that is more competitive. Now, I'm not saying that you always just lower the price, but sometimes people will switch providers based on price. This is a no-brainer. We all know that sometimes this may be a solution to get a customer back. But I'm still back to this. Add value. Can you add value to the enterprise that justifies your price? Does it have the ability to improve some other system in the company by you offering that new feature to your customer? Value creation is what we do, okay? Every single day when we're out in the field building relationships, all we are, folks, is just building value. And as we build value, they tell people about us, and that's how we grow. So that is how you win back a customer. I hope some of these ideas were helpful. I hope you understand some of the key points of CallProof, and that is we follow up. When we find a customer that have left, find a way to be in front of them. When you get back to them and beg for their forgiveness, please come back to us. We'd love to earn your business back. Follow it up with an email. Follow it up with a text. Make sure you're messaging them in different places and reminding yourself in the app to follow up with people, because the new vendor will also make a mistake and you could be there at the right time. We have another Sales Hustle Club call that I did several weeks ago, and it was about the follow-up. One of the things I learned through that process, I didn't know until I looked at the data and did all kind of research. Average salespeople talk to prospects only 2 times before they become a customer. The 1%, the best of the best, average 12 touches before a customer becomes a customer, which tells me that the follow-up is king. You should absolutely, every time you touch a customer, create a follow-up to remind you to call again. If you're just new to the CallProof community, we meet here every 10 o'clock on Mondays Central. We offer a 2-week trial. If you're just curious about how you could use our app to use routing to find more people to talk to, whether it's to find categories of businesses that you sell to and you're walking in off the street and you want to log those and have it remind you and have it help you create those routes. We are here to help you with that. All right, guys, I appreciate your time and energy today. If you haven't yet done this, please take a moment and go to our YouTube channel. We are asking for people to subscribe so you get notifications when these come out. If you're not able to attend the live one, you can see our past ones. If you have a salesperson, that is new to CallProof, or maybe they need a little pick-me-up, they need to add some sauce into their selling day, have them watch episode 1 and just go all the way to episode wherever we are. I think this is 8 or 9, but have them watch it 30 minutes a piece. Maybe even incorporate this in your sales meeting so you can have an energized day, and hope you guys have an energized week. And that's it for the Sales Hustle Club. Thanks, guys.